I didn't care about anything anymore. I was completely unsatisfied with everything in my life, even when things went my way. And I realized that life moves forward, and I was falling behind, and this is what was holding me back. This is my subjective experience. There isn't a systematic right or wrong with smoking weed. This is just what works for me. This video is about my quitting marijuana experience and my dependence on it. Weed is just a plant, and I was the one that was abusing it, and I couldn't handle it responsibly. So I'd like to start by saying thank you. Thank you for helping me through some rough times. You even helped me off of alcohol. Previously, I was abusing alcohol, but I eventually realized that I could get a better high from weed without the damaging effects that alcohol was giving me. So weed acted as a stepping stone. It helped me step down from and stave off a greater evil. I'd also like to send my gratitude for helping soothe the pain in the short term. But I eventually realized that I was experiencing that pain for a reason, and that I needed to face it and come up with solutions myself. I realized that I was running from the monster of life's responsibilities, but I eventually realized that life doesn't have to be a monster. What I eventually realized was that though I was experiencing short-term bliss from smoking weed, as time progressed, it started to take away things. My interest in things started to disappear. And you know what? I didn't even notice this, you sneaky, insidious plant. My apathy grew to a point where I was only interested in smoking weed. And I had everything. I had an amazing job, a beautiful girlfriend, I was in great physical shape, but I was just unsatisfied with everything in my life. I think the essence of apathy was captured quite clearly in the original Pirates of the Caribbean movie. There's a scene where they have to return all the treasure that they had stolen. They scoured the world so that they could find every last bit that they had spent, because in stealing that gold, a curse had befallen them. So what was this curse, and why was it so important that pirates were returning treasure that they stole? Captain Barbossa explains, "For too long I've been parched of thirst and haven't been able to quench it. Too long and I've been starving to death and I haven't died. I feel nothing. Not the wind on my face, nor the warmth of a woman's flesh." This is the same for me. Weed is that treasure that I have to return in order to regain sensation of feeling again. Not only physical sensations which were numbed, but also mental sensations in the form of emotions, which I haven't processed or even know how to process. So I have to return the treasure of weed. And like in the movie where they have to return not only the treasure, but also they have to repay a debt, I too have a debt to pay. Everything has a cost. I just didn't realize the long-term ramifications of getting instant short-term bliss repeatedly for years. So how does this all happen? My brain is smart about being lazy. If it knows it's going to get its dopamine kick later on, it won't waste any energy on anything else. And I believe that this is why I lost interest in everything in my life. I believe that weed blinded me in an effort to think that I needed that fix because it wanted that high so badly, and that nothing else in this world could please me, that this substance was actually helping me and had no long-term effects. It created the illusion that this was the only source of happiness. My brain was shut off for everything else, and I wasn't satisfied with anything. Everything was just blah. And my self-awareness decreased dramatically as well. I wasn't even aware that I was very unhappy. So how did I break free? My conscience was giving me too much tension. Life is like a river, and we're all floating down with the current. Some of us have bigger rafts, some of us have smaller rafts. And when I smoke weed, it takes me to this little lagoon area where I get to just chill and hang out. And I get to just watch all the other people float down. And a lot of times I thought ruthlessly race down this river. And I was wondering, why was everyone taking it so seriously? But then the current started to pull me down this river. I was forced back down this river. And this is one of the paradoxes in life. One of the many dualities is that on the one hand, we're forced to evolve and grow, but at the same time, we have to learn to be content with what we have. And to paraphrase Oscar Wilde, life is too important to be taken seriously. So life is forcing me to grow. Otherwise, I would just be super lazy. I remember a few years ago when I lived in DC, me and my friend were going to a bunch of shows, and he said he was going to stop for a little while to focus on creating his own music. And at the time, I didn't really understand him. I was getting all of this satisfaction from consuming. And only now do I understand what he was talking about, that I need to balance the equation and start producing something, anything, even if it is mediocre, because mediocrity is in the eye of the beholder. And that reminds me of what Shakespeare wrote in Hamlet. There is nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Similarly, there is no right or wrong with smoking weed. There's just what you think and what you can live with. And I'm here to say that life is possible after weed. If you want to reach out to me, feel free to email me, contact me on my website or Instagram. Thank you so much. Have a good day.